can a Tesla Model 3 Performance really keep up with what is probably the king of snow performance, an Audi RS4 Quattro? On paper, the Tesla should have a small advantage. Their weight is very similar. The Tesla's a few kilos heavier, but it has more power, more torque, and thanks to the electric motors, it has the ability to modulate the power much quicker than the electrics can on this internal combustion engine car. As always, in the interest of fairness, both tyres have been fitted with exactly the same size of the Pirelli P0 Winter. This is Pirelli's ultra high performance winter tyre, so it's perfect for these kind of cars, and it should give us a really good look at which car is best. As always, I'll be racing the cars in the all-important snow acceleration and doing snow handling to see which is fastest and which is more fun. And if we get time, we'll look at some hill starts and hopefully even ice. This is going to be a really difficult workout for both cars. The Audi has the heritage in these conditions. The Quattro is a famous rally brand. The car's used to going sideways, but the Tesla has the genius computer systems and the rapid to respond electric motors. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I know I'm going to have some fun. I hope you enjoy watching. All right, if you've watched any of these videos before, you'll pretty much know the routine we work in. First, it's acceleration testing. We're doing it with systems on. We'll do it 3 or 4 times to try and get a really fair, balanced result. And then we'll do it systems off to see if the systems change anything. On paper, the Tesla Model 3 Performance does have the edge, as I said in the intro, especially in 0 to 60, because its book time to 60 is 3.3 seconds and this is 4.1. So I guess we're gonna have to see what happens, because that book time is on dry asphalt, I would imagine, and this is snow, so that changes everything. Again, systems on, we're not doing anything fancy, we're just mashing the accelerator pedal. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I wasn't in gear. Well, that's embarrassing. 3, 2, 1, go.
I guess I have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. We're both test drivers. He's a much more experienced, better test driver than me, and it's taken us a minute to get going. All right, you're in drive forward. Yes, I am in drive forward. 3, 2, 1, go. I've got the jump off the line, but it's very close. Oh, he's coming back. Oh, he's done it. Wow. Run 1 to the Tesla. That was impressive. That was very impressive. 3, 2, 1, go. Systems cut me off there. That is something that happens with traction control systems. This thing sounds a lot better, but that Tesla is gone. Absolutely gone. 3, 2, 1, go. Got the jump there. Could this be one for the Audi? Come on. Come on. Oh, it held it a lot better. Oh, that was better. So there we are, 2-1 to the Tesla with systems on. But I think systems off is going to change some things. Let's find out. Okay, run 4, but run 1 with systems off so I can get some slip, which is actually important on snow. Let's see how it changes. Are you in gear? 3, 2, 1, go. Neck and neck start. There we go. The slower lane now becomes the quicker lane. Internal combustion. Now obviously the Tesla does have track mode, but in a straight line, I don't think it changes anything. I think that Tesla just always launches as hard as it possibly can, and it's impressively fast on asphalt. Perhaps that's what it's tuned for. 3, 2, 1, go. Different planet with the SE off. Slip helps on certain, like I'm a full few car lengths ahead now. So much, this is so much faster with the SE off. Final run, systems off, lots of fun. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Neck and neck off the line again. Listen to that. And I'm still sliding. Yep, got it. That's 3 of 3. and 4 of 6 to the Audi. But that Tesla 100% is faster in a straight line with the systems on. Very impressive.
We tried doing ice traction and sadly failed. Ice is hard and the results ended up being decided based on external factors rather than outright vehicle performance. We also worked out that the Tesla never lets all 4 wheels slip. Sneaky.
This is the part of the video we usually put 2 cars next to each other on a steep incline and see which gets up better. But unfortunately, it's not quite wide enough to do that safely. So instead, I thought we'd go up a 10%, 15%, 20% and see which car did better. Now, we started on the 20% just to see if it would get up there, just a bit of like pre-data. And I watched the Tesla get up absolutely no problem. And considering these are ultra high performance winter tires, which excel in the dry and wet, I'm very surprised how well it did. So, in theory, as long as this Audi can get up this hill without any problems, we're gonna just call it a tie. Absolutely no problems at all. Like, that's very, very, very impressive. For the tire, the car, because that is quite a steep hill. So, we're gonna call that one a tie and move on.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again.
Snow handling. In my video where I compared an Audi Quattro versus a BMW X-Drive car, you all correctly pointed out I was using a Quattro Ultra system, which is the Haldex system, and I needed to get in a proper Audi, an RS4, to really experience what Quattro's about. And you know what? You were all right, and I knew you were right at the time, but this thing is way better than that standard A4 was. And whoa, it's so much fun. It feels like there's a pin in the middle of the car and you can just rotate around it. Every now and again, I do want a bit more rear bias, because sometimes you just have to follow in a little bit quickly, or you have to get on the throttle a little bit sharper than you really want to, just to try and balance out some of that understeer that does creep in on power on this surface. But it's mighty impressive. I mean, look at that, that's beautiful. Sideways, these tires, these P0 winters are continuing to impress me, just being an awful lot of fun. How much of it is the tire and how much of it is the car? I think it's probably a bit of both, but I'm not complaining. Anyway, the fastest time around this snow handling course was a 72.9, and it was a very enjoyable 72.9 seconds, and one I would love to continue doing. However, there is 2 sides to this Audi. Not everyone is a solid driver, so I'm going to turn stability control back on, and then what happens is frustrating. I realize the engineers have to do this, but it feels so limited. Okay, in a straight line, I've got some power. Stick it in third. That's pretty nice. These systems, when they work well, they seem to work well, but when they don't, here, like that's foot down, not going anywhere. So my time with traction control on, look at this, foot to the floor. Why Audi? Just give me a little bit of power at least. So my time with the systems fully on was 77 seconds, which is significantly slower. Oh, it got a bit of yaw and it shut everything down. But with the systems single press, because as I'm sure you know, there's 2 stages to traction control. There's on, then there's the first stage, which is sport, and then there's you hold the button down and you get everything off. It is a little bit funny. It was a second faster at 76 seconds and does, as you can, it's letting me have a little bit of power in the corner, not enough to get a lot of yaw, and then it rapidly turns it off again. But it's better than with it on, and I think this is probably a nice midway house for a not so experienced driver on snow. But anyway, we're not here to talk about traction control systems. I'm going to turn it off one last time. Got to hold the button down, drop it down to second, and this corner, let's just boot it. This is how I end up crashing. There we are, flat out on the limiter. That sounds fantastic. That's one thing, even if the Tesla is faster, that's one thing the Tesla just isn't going to have, and that's the sound of this car. This is very quiet and very sideways. As I've found before, these Model 3s ain't half impressive, but it does make you work for the time more than the Audi. Right, track mode, stability assist, -10, so that's as off as you can turn the traction control, but even with my foot down, it's still not giving me all the power. I have, in the interest of fairness, done some lap times at 50-50 power distribution. I just thought I'd let the Tesla handle everything. And it was a little bit slower than I felt like I could get a little bit quicker. So I balanced it to 60-40 just to get a little bit of rear axle, and which does liven things up. But what the Tesla has that the Audi hasn't is unpredictability. Now I'm understeering, is a little bit of unpredictability. The Audi, as I said, it sort of always rotated around the same center point, and you roughly knew, or you exactly knew more to the point, what you were going to get when you poked the throttle. In this Tesla, because it doesn't actually turn everything off, and because it definitely changes the programming depending on the yaw rate, the steering angle, your throttle position, where you are on the brakes, it's sometimes like there, that's beautiful. That was absolutely astounding. And then here, it's just not giving me enough power to overcome the front axle or overcome the rear axle. And I think it's frustrating more than anything. The car has the ability to use the front rear bias or the front rear balance of power a lot more effectively than the Audi. And I'm not saying Tesla engineers have done a bad job. I think they've done a freaking amazing job on this car, but there is still a little bit on the extreme limits of handling, especially with this sort of 60-40 or even the 50-50 split, where you just know if Tesla engineers let you essentially lock it up like an internal combustion engine car does, to give you that predictability and that confidence, that repeatability, it would be faster. It would certainly be faster. The time, well, it was just under a second and a half slower than the Audi with all the systems off. So it was particularly close, and there was some saving graces for sure. It felt like coming out of the corners, once it decided to give you everything, it might have even felt a little bit quicker because it just shoots out ridiculously, and it felt very good on brakes. Better than the Audi. I'm going to go test this actually if I've got time, because I feel like it was stronger on the brakes. But then like that's the example again. Every now and again you just get some terminal understeer in a corner that you weren't quite imagining, and however much you, there we are, I'm stumping the throttle and I'm not getting anything I want, Tesla. So frustrating, fast, impressive, but there's definitely an air of frustration. Now, one thing the Tesla can do that the Audi definitely can't to win it back some points is drift preset. Now this puts the handling right to the back and whacks the regen up to 100%. I had it down at something like 25%, because on snow 100% regen is difficult, and you can tell in the drift mode it seems to regen on the rear axis, because I'm not braking and I'm in this corner firmly sideways, and honestly this is a party piece you're not going to get with internal combustion. Not this instant switchability and this ridiculous rear regen braking. Oh, have I span? No, I haven't span, because when you lift off mid-corner it goes full on regen and it absolutely spit. Look, I haven't touched the brake this entire time. So this is a big plus of the Tesla on snow. You can absolutely take liberties, and it gives you quite a bit of power in the corners, but still that's my foot flat down. That should be spinning, but it's not, so it's still controlling a little bit much. And I think that's probably the summary of the Tesla. It felt like, how do I describe it? With the systems on, there were points where the systems felt like pure genius. It was like telepathy, and you had that in the Audi a little bit, but then there were times when the systems were just they got it completely wrong. So it's a car of sort of two tails. You can do ridiculous stuff without touching the brake, and I'm just sideways and it's just letting me be sideways. And I think it might even, I wonder if it's controlling the regen to hold the slide at the rear axle as well. That would be very clever. Oh, there's a bit of a snowbank, but anyway. Tesla, I'm sure you're never going to watch this, but if you do, I'd really like the ability to, I don't want to say emulate internal combustion, because that's not what Tesla's about, but I'd like the ability just to drive the car a little bit more, because it's a fantastic machine, it really is. But when you're comparing it to something like an RS4, an Audi RS4 Quattro, it's just it feels like a toy. It feels like you're having a lot of fun, but it's not really a driving purist machine. It's hugely capable. Yeah, that's my summary. It's hugely capable, but if you want a pure driving experience, the Tesla's not that. There's a lot of interference, there's a lot of bells and whistles. It can do lots of different things, but what it doesn't do as well as the Audi is drive in a pure, predictable, fast manner. So there you go. That's the difference between the cars in snow handling. Very interesting test, and let's move on.
In the interest of fairness, I had another driver run snow handling, and his times were even better for the Audi, as his pure testing driving style just didn't work for the Tesla, whereas I tried to work around the system limitations. I also had time to run snow braking for both vehicles, and my hunch was correct. The Tesla was consistently 2 meters better slowing down from 60 kph, so it must have a newer, faster ABS unit.
What a test, and two completely amazing cars with two very different backgrounds. I did also try ice handling, but sadly it didn't go too well. The day before I was using a WRC studded tyre on ice, and we really rutted up the ice, and that gave the tyres exceptional grip. I was out in the Tesla and I was almost as fast as the WRC car on studded tyres on these P0 winters, which is incredible. But the problem is, as soon as you went offline, you were on the very low grip ice, and I might have had a little bit of a bump. As for the two cars, well, what can we conclude? I think the Tesla, for what is essentially a first generation vehicle, is absolutely incredible. Tesla have done an amazing job, but there might be just a few rough edges in the software they could do with smoothing out. The Audi Quattro is amazing on snow. It obviously has the heritage and it is the much purer driving machine. But as I found before with Audis, I would like a little bit more bias towards the rear axle, but other than that, like, absolutely wonderful machine. They've made it sound incredible. It drives really well. It's a beautiful place to be. Two very different cars, but two very impressive vehicles, and whichever one you prefer, that's great. You're absolutely right to prefer what you like, because they're both outstanding. As always, any questions, please ask below. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, safe motoring.